Upon Lina from Heavy Lift to open with a word of prayer. We must thank God this morning that we are alive, we're breathing well. We safely traveled to Gorok Hagen to attend the conference. So, Lina, please, you come on top, na yumi beten past them.
Thank you. Let's close our eyes for prayer. Thank you, merciful, loving Father in heaven. We come here gathered together because we are your children and you have blessed us. We are happy that you've created us in the likeness of your image. And before anything in this world, the world was created by you, and the world you made for human beings. And here we are, Lord, from all walks of life, from all paths, different areas in this country we have come. Lord, this morning we pray that we are nothing, we are out from the dust. We came without nothing, and here we are happy because of the blessings that you have brought us into our lives. And we are here today to share. And one of the blessings that Nasfund has come into our lives and that we will need to be aware of what is ahead for us. Father, we pray today that wherever we are, wherever we go, whatever activities that we take part in this program this morning, Lord, we ask your presence. You can deliver us from wherever the emptiness that we have come and the knowledge that have inspired to some of our employer in this conference, and the Nasfund executives and officers are here to share. Please impart this knowledge so that we can prosper knowledge and bless us today, this morning. In Jesus' wonderful name we pray. All say amen. Amen.
Thank you, Lina. Please, Lina, Lina. Thank you. All right, Mila Wakim, I want to do some acknowledgements. FM 100, right at my right-hand side below me. They're doing live telecast or live from 9 a.m. this morning to 12 midday. So those of you listeners, please tune in and be part of us. So you can be wherever around the nation. Tune in to the conference that's taking place now in Hagen, Mount Hagen. We also have the employer-to-employer discount providers or member discount program. So our suppliers or service providers, we have PIH, Hagen, and A to Z Hardware. There'll be more coming, but during the course of the day, Bami Toksave. So you can go look him stall blongol. With us this morning, we also have Nasfund Exco. We have Chief Investment Officer, Ms. Fiona Nelson. Thank you. We also have Chief Officer Member Services, Ms. Ann Wilson. We also have our good CEO, he's on his way. So Mr. Rajiv Sharma will also be joining us. Thank you. So those are three panels. Our team that's going to be in the panel to run our conference or present to us and know about what Nasfund has been doing in terms of investments, in terms of member services, what the fund has been doing. As a member, you may need to survey. Without further ado, I'll make welcome our first speaker. Please make welcome our Chief Investment Officer, Ms. Fiona Nelson. Thank you. Okay, thank you. While the presentation's being set up, my name is Fiona Nelson. Just so you know who I am, I'll introduce myself so you know that your money is safe. I've been in the investment space and commercial space for almost 28 years now. I'm a trained economist. I did my master's in England in economics. I've been with Nasfund going 6 years now, and I am responsible for giving you your crediting rate at the end of the year. So my main KPI at Nasfund is to drive income to maximize your returns on your behalf. So when your contributions are collected through your payroll and they're put into the super fund, I use that money to make investments on your behalf. Okay, so these are the areas I will talk about today. I'll talk about our 5-year growth and our year-to-date 2025 highlights. I'll talk to you a little bit about our portfolio. In Superfund, a portfolio is made up of both cash and valuation income. Cash income is what you get from rental income, dividend income from stocks that you own, and also interest income that you get. If you give out a loan and the interest that's paid, we call that interest income. So we take all that cash collection, we call it cash income, and then we add it to our valuation income. So the members of Nasfund, we own a lot of property, we own land, we even own the valuation of those equities. Our shareholding is also valued. So those are all called valuation income streams. So then we add them both together and we get the total net asset value at the end of the year. So we do this according to something called a strategic asset allocation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well, so that you know that your money is safe. Nasfund is a superannuation fund and it is regulated very heavily by the Bank of Papua New Guinea. So our investments sit under Prudential Standards 1, 2014. So under that charter, there are many different investment policies that we abide by, and we get audited by the Bank of Papua New Guinea as well. They come on site every 4 years and they audit all our investment decisions, including board meeting minutes. So it's a very stringent process to get an investment placed in the first place. And then I'll talk a little bit about the new investments that we've done and what we are looking at inside of Nasfund on your behalf as members of Nasfund. So this slide shows all the investments that are inside the portfolio. So these are all the companies that the members of Nasfund have shareholding in. And we've recently acquired Newmont shares. Vanguard and iShares are listed indexed. So they are on the international markets and we own shares in there. So what they are is they're a list of many different stocks and we call that an index. So Nasfund has gone into the international market and purchased on your behalf holdings in those stocks. And we recently acquired some shares in my bank as well. So that's still going through government instrumentation. So this is a portfolio. This is what you look at. At a personal level, you may have a portfolio yourself. You own land, you own a house, you own a car. All of those assets put together are called your portfolio. So at an institutional investor level, we take ownership in companies, we take ownership in land, we have property. All of those assets make up a portfolio. So when you hear me say portfolio, I'm talking about the ownership of these many different types of assets. Okay, next slide. So this is our portfolio composition. In Papua New Guinea, it's very hard to remit money overseas. So we have a portfolio that is designed according to liquidity asset classes. So it's not your traditional, your property and your land. Those are our sub-asset classes, but the overall portfolio inside of Nasfund is divided accordingly. So in 2024, year to date last year, yielding illiquid asset class, these were our government papers. Are you all familiar with treasury bills and government bonds? Okay, some yes nodding, some no. Okay, those are when the government wants to fundraise, the government needs to do something, pay its salaries and wages. The government has two main activities that they carry out. One we call recurring expenses on the budget. So those recurring expenses on the budget are our salaries and wages for the public machinery, for the public service. And then we have something called capital formation, which the government is also involved in. So the government fundraises, we call it domestic borrowing, and that domestic borrowing is carried out in the form of auctions, treasury bill auctions, and government inscribed stocks. So Nasfund participates in that on behalf of the members, and we get a return. So when the government borrows from institutional investors, the government pays a return to us, and that's the rate we get upon maturity. So that big yellow part of the pie chart, a bulk of the government paper and instruments are held in that section of the portfolio. Then we have non-yielding illiquid assets. Those are our legacy assets. International asset classes are our overseas investments. And liquid asset class has all the investments that pay dividend returns. So liquid asset class, inside of this, it's BSP stocks, Credit Corp stocks. These are all stocks that pay returns to the portfolio. Okay, so this is the sub-asset class broken up for you to see. So you can see what I said about yielding illiquid assets, government inscribed stocks, loans, properties. They give you a return, but we call it illiquid because it is not easily tradable. Like property, for example. How many property transactions happen very quickly in the market? It's not like trading stocks. So it's illiquid is what we say. Okay, so 5-year performance. So on average, Nasfund, net asset value has grown by 11% year on year, on average. I'm going to skip through. I just want to give you the highlights so that you can see that this portfolio performance is robust. Every year we have a strategic asset allocation review. That happens annually. So every year we have to present to the board where we think we would like to invest for the coming year. And then the trustee board then decides and makes the decision on what they feel is best for the fund. So it's a board decision. So before expenses, Nasfund generated a gross cash income of 482 million on its investments in the year 2024. So this is equivalent to an annualized cash yield of 6.6% return on your investments. Now our portfolio benchmark is 4.5% per annum. So we have outperformed that benchmark of 4.5%. We performed at 6.6%. So you all remember your 11.75 last year? That's the highest crediting rate in the history of Nasfund. So this again is our composition towards the right of the graph. So the portfolio inside of Nasfund, the cash yield was heavily dependent on the performance of government inscribed stocks, which generated, so the government has never defaulted on any of its payments. So this generated a total of 264.8 million in cash yield and BSP dividends, so the dividends we collected from Bank of South Pacific, is 68.4 million. So one stock paid that in dividends to the members of Nasfund. So our top performers inside in the 2024 financial year were the BSP Financial Group Limited, government inscribed stocks, Vanguard, which is the index that I spoke about earlier, our treasury bills, and our iShares, S&P 500, which is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. We are a part of that. So we have made that investment on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea and the members of Nasfund. Portfolio, as I said earlier, cash and valuation income. So this is a breakup of our interest income and our dividend income for you to see. So look at the yellow column, is which I want to highlight. So here we have increased our income by 34.2% from the previous year. So in 2024, the investment portfolio had a total gross investment income of 1.02 billion. That's gross. So that was up 34.2% from the previous corresponding period. And this was credited to a return of 3.1% in liquid assets. So these are our investments that pay income back to us, cash income, like I mentioned, BSP Credit Corp, Brian Bell, and 15.6% in yielding illiquid assets. Yielding illiquid are our government papers and government securities, and 19.8% came from international assets, and 3.1% came from our non-yielding assets. The assets that sit inside of the non-yielding asset class are assets that we want to get rid of. Okay, so investment return, this is year-to-date 2025 now. So as of April, this is our year-to-date performance. So we have a total income of 367 million year-to-date. So this is after first quarter. That's year-to-date. And our valuation income is 155 million. So we've had capital gains as well as foreign exchange gains from our overseas investments. So just to highlight here again, the liquid asset class, the yielding, illiquid, international and non-yielding. So in 2023-2024, the board endorsed a 15% asset class for liquid assets. So we are in 2024-2025, we are at 15% of the portfolio. In international, we were at 15% in 24-23, and now in 25-24, we've been given a board endorsement to increase to 25%. So my job now is to increase the international asset class to 25%. We are currently sitting at around 17.8%. Yielding illiquid, the board endorsed a 65% portfolio allocation. In 2025, they've endorsed, we are now sitting at, we need to get to 57.5%. So I need to decrease that asset class by 7.5%. And non-yielding illiquid, in 2025, the board would like that to decrease to 2.5%. So that's what we are working on now. There are some assets inside of our investment portfolio which are not making a return for the members of Nasfund. So if they're not making a commercial return, as I said at the opening statement, is to maximize your members' contribution, we have to divest them. We have to get rid of them. So the board has taken a very sharp decision to decrease that asset class by 50%. Okay, so this is the slide on international investments, just so you're aware. And we have had growth so far year to date of 5% in that asset class. These are our new investments. So new to Nasfund portfolio, we took up last year iShares, which are BlackRock shares. It's a BlackRock index. The shares that we took up are mostly infrastructure. So when I talk about infrastructure, I talk about roads, bridges, airports, ports. So these indexes, they invest heavily in those areas and they're listed in the index. The reason that we like infrastructure is that infrastructure investments, they time nicely with superannuation. A lot of members on average stay in the fund for 15 to 20 years. So infrastructure is constant income and continual income over a long period. So you'll find that a lot of institutional investors like to invest in infrastructure. In any portfolio, you need to have a bit of gold. So Nasfund has taken the board decision to invest in Newmont, because when you're in a time that you're going through a recessionary period, it's gold rallies in the portfolio. So minerals always rally, so we've included Newmont in our portfolio, and I'm happy to report that we do have a healthy size of Newmont shares in the portfolio on behalf of the members. Then we are looking at infrastructure development. We have key strategic partners, so we are working with steamships. So steamships also own part of all the Coral Sea hotels, so we are here today in the Highlander Hotel. We are also redeveloping our property development block in downtown Port Moresby. It's called the Nasmalal block. It's next door to the Bank of Papua New Guinea, and it's where the old Westpac building is, and it goes all the way, it spreads down to the front opposite the Marriott Hotel, if you've been to Port Moresby. So that block of land is owned by the members of Nasfund, and it sits inside of the portfolio. So we are moving this year to commercialize that plot of land on behalf of the members. Ongoing, we have the other stocks that are there, so we are actively buying Kina Bank shares, we're actively buying Santos shares, and we actively participate in government securities as well. And our legacy investments that I mentioned earlier are Mainland Holdings. Mainland Holdings, they produce table birds, Three Roses flour. So you would have seen it around. They have a crocodile farm as well. They have stock feed, table bird stock feed. So the members of Nasfund own 98.82% of that company, the group. So there are only two main distributors of poultry in Papua New Guinea at the moment, Senag and Mainland Holdings. But because Nasfund is an institutional investor, we don't operate in poultry. So what we're looking at doing is divesting that also so that we can get more returns out of that. So it's a way of creating efficiency in the company so that we can commercialize it properly and get you the return that you deserve. So that's one of the big projects that we're working on right now in the investment space, and we hope to close it out this year. Horny Brooks New Guinea Limited is another entity that we are looking at divesting as well. So these are our legacy investments. And I think we've come to the end of the slide pack. So if there are any questions, maybe that's after Ms. Ann Wilson's presentation. But this is where your money has been invested in on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, CIO, Chief Investment Officer. Some good information you may have there. Just to make the team feel awake a little bit, I'd like to ask Christabel from BNBM. Please make welcome Christabel. So she'll come and show us just a mind teaser.
Good morning, everyone. I believe the last session last year, a few of us get to know each other. Thank you, Nasfund, for connecting employers to employers. With that, we'll have an icebreaker or a short brain teaser. Okay, for those of us that were with us last year, can you remember something that I said, hello, hi? You remembered. Okay, let's try. When I say hello, you say hi. Okay, let's try. If you're awake, hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Hi, hello, hi. Hello, hi. Okay, thank you. Now I'd like you to find a space, but I don't want you to stay with someone from Tininga to Tininga. I want you to find somebody different. Okay, in twos, very quickly. In twos, in twos. We'll have a quick exercise and then we'll move on. I'd like everybody to stand up and at least find a partner. Okay, it's a very simple exercise. Remember the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. You ready, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. When I say 1, you lift your hands up. Okay? When I say 2, you clap. When I say 3, you turn around. And when I say 4, you high five to your friend. Okay? Come again. Okay, when I say 1, you lift your hands up. When I say 2, you clap in the air. Yes. When I say 3, you turn around. And when I say 4, you high five to your friend. Okay? Let's go very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. High five. Okay, one more. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Now I see people are being loud now. You're gonna sleep. Thank you, Drew. We'll make welcome our second speaker. Please make welcome Chief Officer Member Services, Miss Ann Wilson. Thank you.
Good morning, Olgeta. Good plugin lo looking Yupla, and thank you for taking the time to be here. As Member and Employer Services Division deals with members and employers directly, me come representing all issues blamipla, where we would mipla like him Yupla la halvi mipla love, halvi all members. Because at the end of the day, you are employees and your employees are our members. Okay, so outline the presentation below me. I'll share on the current key issues, the identified causes of those issues, recommended way forward improvements, all narabla important process information. So the current challenges, we have number 1, high unallocated contributions. As at the end of April, people are recording 73 million kina in big money, and it accounts for 26 receipts or 26,000 deposits. And for Highlands region, we identified 5.4 million, it makes up 7%. Another key issue is the defaulting employers. This line all employers salim they do deductions, but only no salim contribution they come to fund. So by end of April, we recorded 21%, which is made up of 612 defaulting employers nationwide. For Highlands region, 58 employers TASOL, and it makes up 8%. Another key challenge is the high incomplete member biodata. This line system got plenty accounts where got full details for all members. One important detail that Miplaga emphasize all members must put in beneficiaries. We have 78,000 nil beneficiary active accounts. So I'm planted to. For Highlands region, it's 2,900, and that makes up 4%. So we will call him Highlands region because you missed up here, and if you want to employer where you got all employees where they have not completed the member detail update form, then you are included in these stats. So the other current challenge is lack of engagement using the available online services. So people got on online services, now plenty of members and employees are not utilizing it. So more on the unallocated contributions, we have the first identified issue is all employers Salim payment. You have done the deposit into Nasfund account, but you plan a Salim schedule account for us to do the allocation. So it's simple. All you required to do is to submit the schedules, a copy of the deposit receipt. Time you work in remittance below you must Salim this document account. So for those of you who are on the portal, you do the remittance and you upload time only give you BSR. Narapla issue Blodesla is incomplete allocation in progress, and this relates to those who are using the portal, employee online portal. So in progress meaning it's sitting there because there are some account queries. Suppose you go inside the portal blue, now you're looking that your current remittance is sitting there in progress. You need to reach out to your account manager. Baligon only identify what the cost is and they'll advise you. But at the end of the day, you as the responsible person, you must ensure that all your uploads are completed. It must be completed fully. Naraply contributing factor below high unallocated is the unknown deposit. Again, people are receiving plenty deposit, they come low account, but they have vague narration. Narration belong in them no clear, got all numbers now, all reference lines, so we don't know who it belongs to. So in total, as at the end of April, 13 million kina as unknown deposit. So suppose you walk you sell him this copy of deposit and the schedule, then we can go and identify it. Rouse him long, unknown, put him go account you. So again, what can you do? You need to track your super account or your employee online account. You will check in this. If it's sitting there or it's not sitting, it has not been allocated, please reach out to the fund. High defaulting employers. Again, it's a requirement under the Superannuation Act that registered employers must remit their contributions, the employees' contributions to the fund. So firstly, deducted contributions are not paid on time. So all you should do is remit those deducted contributions in a timely manner to the fund. And lack of notification on company financial status. Misawa Sampla company now, they're facing financial hardship. So what you are required to do is just engage with the fund or your BOIC. Now you talk long working payment plan. So you still buy legally fund. And again, people identify and say, Sampla law, people talk an employer is defaulting, but then receipt long only salimikam, but it's sitting in unknown deposit. Again, so me talk when you have remitted your funds, you are supposed to send a copy of the copy of the deposit receipt. You come let me plan and talk survey as well to your account manager that me work in this account, but I can't. It's not allocated into our members' accounts. So please forward him this copy of the deposit receipt. Law identify him this remittance below you, and also monitor your deposit to ensure that they are allocated. Incomplete member biodata. The issue that people identify, incomplete onboarding of new members. So plenty of employers who are registered to the portal, you are doing your own registrations, uploading of new member. So when you're onboarding, you're supposed to fill in the member details and gender, correct gender, because system picks up the name and the surname. So once that's done, when you're doing that, you're supposed to submit the member detail update form, fund, so we can fill the rest or complete the other information that's not missing at the onboarding stage. Now, something that me like stressing is we give all our employees 3 months probation. So within the 3 months probation, all make Nasfund part of your onboarding as well. Only complete the IRC, only complete the Molnar platform, blah, blah. The member detail update form should be one form that the new employee should complete as well. Now, Yubla Salim becomes, so we are doing this, we have this registered before the first deduction by happen. So please submit the completed update form, Kamlo Fan. And another issue is lack of feedback on reminders to provide staff MDUF forms. So Sampla line, you get your employees to complete the form. Now you plan Salim So engage with if it's a big company, please engage one them fan or branch lawyer. Come on site. No listen on what them and they will help in guiding your employees to completing the staff form. But they'll also provide support law working super awareness, law staff blah blah. So that's just a reminder to those big companies. We are able to do that. The lack of engagement using our available online services. So all you are required to do is to register. We have the member online portal where all employees can register. They have to fill in a form. Nobody registering. They'll get registered and they can do it from their smartphones. They can do online inquiries. Secondly is the tax balance. This is from one bank phone. You just do the *627, star date of birth, membership number, and then date of birth. Now, so encourage them all walk line blah using this law. And then for those who want to have a convenience of uploading the employer's contribution file, you register to employer online portal. Those who haven't, please you register. So you just do it from your office. You upload in this last schedule. And we have the call center 1588 where you can you'll go through the IVR interactive voice recorder by halving you'll go through suppose you like him balance or you like him withdrawals, so it will tell you the stage of your withdrawal. Yeah, but that's convenient and it's efficient as well. All members using this law. So sharing information, housing advance, people all get us housing advance and working house now. It is a benefit that's provided to our members whilst they're still employed. So that's the only benefit that's allowed at the moment. So a member must be 5 years, must be a contributing member for 5 years or more to be eligible. So to do that, by Kisim Access Law Savings Plan, it's 100% of their members' portion. And this is the 6% that's coming out of their pay. What you deduct for the members, 100% Lodesla. So, how see you'll get cheap and big money long. So, by you looking, say, sample member only looking 2,000, 3,000 eligibility blown, they want to come and withdraw or come looking you plan or sign in form. But I ask that you encourage them, put him, increase him this lose him past them, save him some more money, and we have the voluntary contributions where they can contribute more or put him on top. So they can have a big amount to withdraw because we are only allowed 2 housing advances. And the second one is equal to the first. Suppose money come kiss him 5,000. Second one, and even every pay him 5,000 because they've been continuously savings. They gone up 10 or 15,000, and banana piece him the total 15. It will be equivalent to the 5,000. So that's you need to share him this information on them all stuff blah blah. So the housing advance is used for equity or loan. You go sim loan. It can be used as a equity. And we pay to service providers only. Mi plan sa pa mi member. members can build on customary land, but there are certain forms that they need to complete. But you must blow this lahap. You know, mi blorabal na mi kam kisim customary land or build house lumilo hagen. And by nogat, you have to, unless you married lab, then you have to provide all the documents that you married the kambla des lahap. And repayments, members must restore with 2% anta plus 6% below as the housing repayment. And if you want to restore that quickly, you increase the megonta depending on budget longer member. So for the member to get the second one, they must fully repay first one. So semi-top-finish, there's limited advances. There's only 2 at the moment, and that's by the Superannuation Act. Again, there are documents requirements that you have to complete, submitting to get your housing advance approved. So member withdrawals, members can access the withdrawals only when they're unemployed, only pennies work. And that's, a member can get the withdrawal after 3 months of continuous unemployment. So for those that have a balance under 1,000, they will go for partial withdrawals by Miplagimol monthly withdrawal. What they get on a fortnightly basis, embolikisim long monthly. If someone is receiving 500 law fortnight, embolikisim 500 law monthly. That's why we ask for pay slips. Na mipla ask him law, you put him gross pay plan law letter. And we have medical or deceased. These are the categories. We have the medical, deceased, and retirement that are immediate. And we have mandatory documents. We have documents that should be provided by the withdrawing member. So we got withdrawal form. Only must complete in this law, and then you have the endorsement part law and in it this law, and then they must provide a confirmation letter from the last employer. So you'll find that some member they've been employed with other companies. So those companies too must provide a confirmation letter, because that's the proof that, because we have the contributions in the system and proof that they were with that previous employer. And then the salary bank account statement, we would require that to confirm that account belonging, it's under the person member's name, and it's an active account. It must get balance 20 kinana on top. Copy of 2 valid IDs must be provided. It's a passport, Nasfund ID card, work ID or NID, and by accept him. And also to provide a last payslip advice. And lastly, withdrawal request letter from the member. So people are like in the slide that it's coming from the member, and must provide him the slide request letter. So there are different categories. That's the mandatory documents. But for the other categories, we'll need additional documents. So under transfer, roll over to another super fund. So small line like transfer from number 1 super to Nasfund. I must provide him the mandatory documents plus the current employer's confirmation letter, na member statement from that previous super fund, and member need him this tupla additional to the mandatory documents that we state in Pinis. Immigration, if you're you like go to Stablo Australia or Narabla overseas, you provide him all get the document me talk Pinis, the mandatory ones, and we'll also require a proof of residency citizenship. Now overseas bank account statement, Bamplay require him this la, and proof of residential address, na bank address, overseas bank address, and Bamplay require him this la. So under medical grounds or someone or disability, then the member has to provide those mandatory ones, and the additional ones would be medical reports from 2 different separate doctors. You need him this la, and must provide medical history, the clinical all clinic records, clinic book here will require that, and the employer's confirmation letter under that MP needs on medical grounds. So that's what we will require, additional information that we will require. Turnaround time for withdrawal, and this when a member submits the withdrawal form, application form, there are 4 stages that they will go through. The first stage is assessment, and this assessment is done at the counter time you submit in form. So it will take about 8 business hours. Namboli assessing documents. So from that stage, it bali pushing me go stage 2. Stage 2, assessment reviewing. This is when the approval officer recheck him again, work him not assessment belonging. If everything is in order, and by pushing me go stage 3. But if there's some queries or this application form, they will reject that back to stage 1. So time I'm going to stage 1, the same officer deal want them by looking this application, and will communicate with the member. Document say, okay, we require this additional information. Most times when it comes through stage 1, time only comes to a block counter. It's the responsibility of the officer of front to check him or get something. And if there's missing documents, and by Salim member gonna document, you need to provide these additional ones. But if that's missed, then it goes to stage 2. Then that's in some instances it goes back to stage 1. Stage 3, processing. This is when it's been approved and it's sent to our fund admin. So fund admin and Olisa working processing now. Processing of the file. So it's processed to say that the payment is processed in the system. So that should take another 8 business hours. So Lokina boli processing na boli salim in a batch to Nasfund. Because money lo mipla payment member staplo Nasfund. So from Kina it comes back to Nasfund, you go to finance department now. Where Mr. Yublasa using BSP Kundu Pay. So we use the same, so it's in that batch, and then Mipla all finance Mipla by working approval, and it's sent to the bank. So now I'll give him talk right long bank by putting Migolo individual member accounts. So that's what happens in stage 4, where we send it finance department and by Salim Golo Bank, and it's paid directly to the members' accounts. So it's on same day from stage 3. So it takes about 3 to 5 days if all documents are in order. There is no waiting period for members over 55 years of age. Tamibla look himself last contribution belong any come. It's sitting in the members' account. Then we will have that process if they meet all the requirements. And that's 3 months period a waiting period for members below 55. So they go through the monthly unemployment benefit. So this unemployment benefit, if somebody finished on the 11th of the month, so every 11th of the month, 11th, 12th, probably expecting this unemployment benefit will come through. So it's a monthly benefit that's paid to the member. Taxation on super. Governments are taxing super too. And this is what comes out. What comes out of the members' pay? I'm not applying tax long, and it's what the employer pays on behalf of the employee, because it's not taxed at the employer level. Super. So employer component, the 8.4 that the employer pays, that's what it's taxed. Mipla applying tax la disla, and the interest that's and colleague Blomisia talk finish. There's the interest also give every year annually equal all members. That's Mipla the government applying tax la disla. Now me talk finish what the employee component or the 6%. Tax is not applied on that. Even if they increase in Migolo 10%, it's voluntary contributions or 15%, that's tax is not applied on that. So super favors members who contribute long time. The more years you contribute, the less tax is applied. So you look in table is up less than 5 years. Just member contribute less than 5 years, then EMSA applying marginal tax rate, and the highest can be 36%. Not less than 5 years, between 5 years and 9 years, concessional rate now applying go down to 15%. Between 9 years and 15 years, it further reduces down to a concessional rate of 8%. And greater than 15 years, by looking at 0%. So thank you, Lord Government. January or February this year, this la all 0%. They used to be 2%. People have been applying 2%. Now it's 0. So Usato Lani work 15 years now. Only come around the money blongol. They go with everything. Everything that only save him, only look him the balance blow. If someone's got 500,000 in there, and let's say 200,000 or 300,000 is employer component, one-time interest, and by Kisimol Geta, there's no tax. Tax won't be applied on it. And also under the categories medical, Satoline is sick or provide him report that they are disabled, 0%. All member blame me only die, but beneficiaries blow, but it's him full amount. And members who are over 50 years of age, and they have contributed to the fund for 7 years or more, M2 got 0%. So that's taxation on super. We got those popular as categories that got tax bali apply law refund long all time only losing Nasfund. Sampler member services, online services we have. Call center, you meet up Pinis, you ring him 1588, or ring him call center Blimipla. There's options to talk to a call center agent or sampler, but you go through Lodesla IVR, where you just respond to the message that's coming on time you are hiring. We have the employer online portal. Again, those who have not registered or uploading file, please do register. We have that. We have e-withdrawals. So you can apply through our e-withdrawals. And that's you salim email kan online mi plagat team application you. So we accept housing advances. Instead of you come to branch, you can send that email that to us. Housing advances online only stop overseas, and we can help them through e-withdrawals. And to qualify for this, you must provide your personal email address. We must have that registered in the system. And we also have member online portal as Mitopinis. We encourage our members to register to the online portal, so they are sitting there underneath the mango tree or one of them now checking balance flow yet. And they will also check when them last contribution they go inside. Suppose only look him say 2 months ago, only no it's not showing in the on mobile, then I'm sure they'll be coming to you as payroll officers, asking you, what happened to our contribution? Why hasn't it been allocated? So tax ball, again, that's the *627. And then we have social and messaging channels on WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay, we have some key future initiatives. These are some improvements that we're putting in place. And firstly, review of confirmation of employment letter. Time member Lucy Mokem, you fill him, you complete him, the sign off now. Put him all information that's required on the standard template that NIPLA provide him. So that's the confirmation of employment letter that employers give to their departing army in all line of penis work. So the current way when people are working, member losing work, time and finish work and go stop the one have long way up. And only when they're ready to apply for the super, then they'll reach out to you or ask him Lodesla. So we have seen plenty challenge Lodesla, where member go stop Lokiunga, long way happen, they are calling, Tininga or them to call me, finish work now, if you can sign this document and help me. Also provide a confirmation of employment letter. So what we are going to change that, and we're going to share with everyone, Bian Bambla Salim notice Lodesla, where when the member leaves employment, I'm ready logo, you give them one copy Lodesla. So they have a copy now. You, as the employer, you send that with the SF6. You got one form SF6 where you list down all your employees who have left employment, who have left your company. So you provide it. Suppose you got tuplaman or triplaman or losing work, then you provide the 3 confirmation letters with the SF6 form. So we'll have that saved law account uploading Gola account law. So time only like apply, they won't disturb you to ask for that letter. We already have it. It's just for you to endorse that application form. So Mbambla Toksave will send that notice to all your employers. The Toksave this new process by Plomas working. And then secondly, we are reviewing a lot of our standard forms, and we're starting with the confirmation of employment letter. I plan to send this, but we're going to send that out. It's been revised. We are in progress of reviewing our MDUF form, the slab and blast talks as well, and we'll send you guys a copy of that, or it will be on our website. And the withdrawal application form, member withdrawal application form, we are currently reviewing that, and we will share with you all once that's completed and approved. Lomibla Toxavali replied that as of this date, you will need to get all our members to start using this form. It's not going to happen like straight away. Mibla Toxave will give a period. Let's say 1st of January 2026. We want all the forms to be used like this new format. And review of new member onboarding process. Mibla experiencing plan the challenge Lodesla. Because Sambla employer or payroll officers time only onboarding all new member belong all, they are only onboarding one fortnight. That same member next fortnight is given another new account. So we have experienced a high number of duplicate accounts. Now you plus have a time member like Lucy Mock, now people identify them got duplicate accounts, will reject the application and send them back to the employer or confirming. So we're looking at reviewing that process, the onboarding process. And again, we will share with all employers what will be the new way forward law, working this law update. So, Emtasol, thank you through Laharim Laipla. If you have any questions, Yupla can ask him now.
Thank you. Please remind me I just wanted to appreciate the success in that also. We'll go through the Q&As for investment and other services. But before that, we like working acknowledgements. So about sponsors clinic or discount providers. Firstly, go to Apple 100 Talkback show. They're coming live today from 9 to 12. Please also be listening or listen to all content during during the conference too. Let's also talk thank you or employer to employer or discount providers, E2E, NTE, PIH program, or PIH Hagen, A to Z hardware, Gen, and BFBM hardware. Thank you. So you have time to upload some providers because you guys want to all. Please, you guys actually go out and see what they wanted to show to us. Upload products or remote services, what they have for them. Also, we talked with PIH and providing free blood pressure check today, this morning. So we'll find time after that you go through. Having said that, did every one of you get a little card like this? It's called 2025 Annual Regional Employee Conference of Alliance can be. We'll run through that. So that's Sophie Caruso, we have run through. If you are at home, regular hosting, maybe that's an example asking question. Then we'll run through any questions. I know you have a lot of questions. Everyone asking which are both. So sometimes we can answer it, sometimes we can take no clue. But we see who can ask more questions.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Ogeta. Thank you, Loipra. Come na morning na harimol excom na Miplo Line lo Nasfund deliver lo employer conference Highlands Regional Employer Conference. Suppose you can see one QR code outside. First and foremost, name blow me Sophie, me Maki Mouse blow marketing team blow Nasfund. So me bla me na colleague blow me outside. Ray Mole me bla kam blow most below supporting team blow me lo Hagen na Priscilla lo deliver this la regional conference. So you me party man lo you blow first time. Thank you lo you this morning. So we person man pass them the QR code. This QR code it's very important lo mipla lo marketing. Why? Because mipla ba serve lo one like him lo yupla. So mipla ba delivering products and services lo next one go lo like him lo yupla lo make him member easy lo yupla. Because member am first, employer am first to lo side lo next one. So first and foremost, usai no clear lo QR code. You may go see one pla lily card outside. Can you just show your card if you have it, please? Thank you. Okay. So now you have to plug a him smartphone. One pla phone blue player. We're gonna do a walkthrough very quickly just to show you how important this is. So if you have your phone there, the QR code, by me go or scan me. Suppose you plug clear or scan me. Let me just go through here now. You will look in, suppose me got link low here, we can do that. Okay, so for me, Bamigolo, this la link lo here. So time you scan him this la link, lo phone blue also you like see photo you like see photo blow under something that you phone you make him also that's how you scan it. There's also a scan me option. So maybe not sharing screen the phone lo have, but here we go. So very quickly, there, mm. So look, one phone blue blah, yeah, that's it. Good one. I see people doing a victory dance. That means we're getting somewhere. So if they go to the scan me, now you like on him data blue, you just you swiping phone, you on him data, yeah. Then you look him up, it says somewhere there, it says scan me. Your scan me option will be there too. No God, you can go on. Also you like see photo blow plus something, you see photo blow picture blow code there. Yeah. If you need help, please feel free to put your hands up and we come by and we'll see. Ayona, this is too you remember work one time data. You may be mobile, you may Vodafone, you may DDCell. So ember work one time data. You may not get data now, I'm sorry, straight, but that's okay. Scan me, okay, that's okay. Yeah, ma'am, it's all here. So let's see. There you go. There you go. Okay, now you scan him. You scan him, and you want the link. Too good, I'm sorry, me okay. Oh, if you only me see now, remember. And now you open. Now you open. So now I'm network now. Data basta but network to am challenge. Excellent. Oh, the lady's here. Right. Right. Yeah. Also, you like see picture. So here, 10 out of 10 to our friends here from Voice for Change Jiwaka. All make him good threat. All go scan me blow or scan QR code. And now I'll stop inside lo here, Penny. So good job, ladies. So we can just take the photo. Plenty blow you me this days. You make one plant nice plant you make kissing photo. Okay, you me looking nice plant flower, you make kissing photo. One kind of same you kissing photo, but this like QR code, please. Thank you. Yeah, how we doing? So when you're all in, then just raise your hand and then you may proceed. Just so you may get to move one tab. Good, thumbs up. Right, yeah. Okay, thank you. So inside of this la feedback now, by you answering all this la question now. So firstly, we run to it together. And I'll get a question by one and depend law. Employer, which employer, organization blow you, company blow you come lab. So first question you may look in. So there's a 2025 annual regional employer conference, and in this case it's Highlands region. Now you may Olim Mount again. So member feedback survey. So this is very important for us. So you may can improve you may add products and services you may moving forward. So by me first, I think the first important one, and by me put him correct. So that's it. So just in case you think or some event blow you may have finished, employer conference blow you have not finished yet. You may still got some nice presentation but come close to time. But this like you may kissing break, so you may marking this like QR code because it's important to know how you feel him loyal, what you think him loyal time you come to this Nasfund employer conference. So that people can come, like give him one way presentation, now you like see I go, but you must give him talk, come back lo mipla. So thank you. So even blow me not over yet, still by me continue, now by me end one time lunch too, by plan I've got nothing. So thank you. Quickly you may go back lo QR code, lo question blow me general feedback. Overall, how would you rate the event? One am thinking blow you lo this la event. So I was all giving 1+ scale na to 1 to 10. But you give me plus 10 out of 10 no. Or some no good you mama so some come up lo Highlander. But next fun me play giving information good lo you or this la kind you play at scale this sense tab lo hand lo you play. So overall, how would you rate the event? And then when you go to the drop down at the corner over there, sorry, wrong. So it says, please select, and you have excellent, very good, fair, and poor. That's totally up to you. So, awesome, me talk. You yet scale him event block today, now you put him answer blow you have. Question number 2. What improvements would you suggest for our next employer conference? Sample blow every year without miss you come. Thank you, straight. Now you blow very important law function blow Nasfund as well. In terms of superannuation, some people talk thank you. So some kind improvement you think or some people can make him, please feel free to put it down. Now you got sample option, blow you start venue, food and beverage, decor and general setup, entertainment, network opportunities. You come there, you sabung him all sample all not blow all one walk blow you or you network or you make him new plus contact. Number 3, what else you'd like to share about this event? Anything. Start thinking blow you yet in terms of your employer and your capacity, your attendance here today. So know your fund. What additional information you prefer to know to be more compliant? So many more information you would like our team to do more awareness on and that kind of thing. So people work boom one time member employer services. XCOM lo mipla kam go pass or explain mipla work boom one time all na look him how you can move forward lo I'm a single members na employers. So Disla, are you registered on the employer online portal? Quick show of hands, please. EOL. Okay. Employer online portal. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that. The other one, choose Nasfund product that you wish to know more about. Employer to employer, ME2E discount. Now MC Bloyumi, I'm explaining, or some PIH na, or Nabla partner can set up lo here, that's the employer to employer discount. Different from member discount program, where you mean Nasfund member by go show him ID card, law, Brian Bell. Now you be like buy one blah, say what, new blah saucepan or frying pan or new blah couch or chair table. This la member discount program am different. You member ba go so you must member from Nasfund. Employer to employer also a shortcut na talk E2E am different. Am boss suppose theodist like him all walk line blow am go kissing sample medical check lo PIH. PIH na theodist must register first through our marketing team at Nasfund so that they are registered members. Now me blow give you one ID card lo all lo talk small E2E member. So theories can go present him this la card lo PIH na talk me pla E2E member, Nasfund E2E member. Now PIH but talk okay then me pla give him one pla discount lo sample medical checks pla. Same with PIH. All like him sample viral or writing sample patient information, all go lo theories lo him stationary. Also in E2E card blow lo up. Oh, you member you me stop lo network. So me plug in discount lo you buy in bulk stationery. Something like that. That's just the basic explanation of the E2E program. Then you have our famous MDP, and now so we talk member discount program. And then employer voluntary contribution, chief member services, me talk lo presentation, Blampinis. And then we have EDA Super. EDA Super is non-citizen and expatriates, people who are not citizens of Papua New Guinea. So, one kind product you like him more information on this, please feel free to put it down in the survey. That's what the feedback survey is for. So, what is your current pain spot with Nasfund? So, pain spot basically challenge blow you. One can challenge you as an employer, you as in payroll or HR or this like kind, you like uploading more contributions or what is within your organization. So there we have member maintenance. That's the MDUF form. That's the member detail update form. That's what MDUF is. So even if you are merging, or some boss merit talk companies, you start upload this la employer now, and then you move out, now you like go on apply employer, but you don't have go kisim new plan Nasfund number. And one plan that's also, that's what it means by you merging. Then you continue to contribute to the same account. So Narapla authorized signatory updating, and Narapla can obligation blow you all employer lo put him, so then all employees blame me back go good. Superannuation deduction and contribution allocations, any challenges within that area, please feel free to put it down in your feedback survey. Electronic responding time, and will email, phone, or social media, you feel you must one blow. Use the salim sampler or question blow you come or sampler or heavy blow you salim come now you like him sampler clarity or you like him sampler answer. You slow feedback time, blow me plot this like and please put him inside. That's what the feedback survey is for. And then the other thing, withdrawal and confirmation letter, very, very important. Very important in our line of duty as employers. So this la challenges and stuff, you get to choose. You scale him now, you choose. And then before submitting, please state email address and name of the employer you represent today at this conference, so that we get to appreciate you. We have our account managers who take care of your respective employers' portfolios and uploads, so we can work together to kind of improve on how we can better serve you as our employers, because through you, our members are contributing. So thank you. So please don't forget to put your very important information. And for the record, this information by you not kisim na use him against you in any way, or kisim na put him public or kind of submit. Basically, it's research purposes for us to get feedback, understand him, and look him okay. All talk awesome, so you may try and go forward. So nothing to hold against you in case you don't want to disclose some information. And on that note, the final one will be your employer name and code. So once you do, please submit. And then the survey will say thank you. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you for your ears and thank you for your time here today as well. I will hand it back to our MC. Like I said, you mean no pinisiet. So you mean pinisi ma program blow you mean me hand him go back to MC. Thank you, time. Please give yourselves a round of applause for completing the QR code. Thank you very much. Plenty information. Thank you. Can you guys stand up and just stretch? You may stretch. Because the next session is we have in Q&A now. Maybe ask him all question. Those burning issues or some ting where you say kisim na Priscilla no sa answerim mo. Fidelis no sa answerim. Now but you ask him. Thank you. All right. Stretch. You can sit down. All right. Let's take some questions. Good one. Sorry. Time you ask him question, you introduce him you yet? I'm good plan. So maybe I can savele you too. Introduce yourself, which organization, maybe one position or work is a work him. Now ask him question blue. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning through.
Neblomi Amos Kiap. Yeah, people call me the famous Amos. Actually, I'm an employee of a steamships trading company. I was suspended from work 2002. I've been in court in 20 years. I couldn't get my redress because I was claiming my lost benefits. So, I lost benefits. People are losing benefits, and I could say tax. That taxes included with benefits. There are some we lost around the workplace, and the employees they don't know about this. I've been in court and I realized this. So, actually, I'm contributed to Nasfund. Actually, when I was suspended, I was out of work for some years, and I withdrew all my benefits. So, my question goes back to lost benefits. Last time the minimum wages board by year, I raised this issue. I was trying to make an industrial complaint, but I wasn't allowed. Actually, the labor always when people are terminated from work, they should do the calculations, but it's not happening. So wages and benefits are lost there because employees they think of their business and they don't care about the employees. That's what happened to me. Or I was suspended and we are in court. So my question is about lost benefits. What are you doing? Can you do something about this? Lost benefits. I'm under suspension. It's lost working hours and terminate. The labor also it's not happening. The employees are doing it. That's what I'm saying.
So Amos' question is, he was terminated or suspended, and how would his calculations in terms of his superannuation mandatory contributions, the employer never remitted. So what happens in this case? What are the What are the legal proceedings? How does Nasfund go about doing it? Do they get help from Labor Department? And so forth. What would be the best advice?
I think my best advice is by go you work put him complaint on Labor Department. Yeah, because then yeah. Anyway, thank you, Lord. Question you. Because employer time you work and only working deduction, meaning you are working and they're only working calculating. Mm. But you Salim complain letter you go along on? Oh, okay.
From my experience, then the employer, one day doing some of the hours of the time. Now, when people are working, the company is registered hours everything. So they have to pay according to the hours.
Mm.
Yeah. So they're talking about these hours. So that's why I was in court. And this guy was talking about my hours. He couldn't come to court. So
Yeah. So
Okay.
something is not law court finish and by hard law. Meet my
my
work plus
question
something.
is lost benefits along the way.
Suppose
It's
you
talking
win.
about every employee is supposed to be.
Okay, suppose you win in court and by
It doesn't, I'm not talking about my case. I'm talking about the lost benefits. The people are losing, they're working, they're losing all their benefits.
Okay, Amos. You work like Hagen or Wonder Bridge? Hagen. Okay, we'll continue with you and I, after this. Is it okay?
I'm talking about my issue. I'm talking about the whole issue.
So can you and I discuss after this? Thank you, Amos. Now, can we get any questions with regards to member services, our engagements, investments? Any questions along that? Thank you, MAF.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dorothy. I work with MAF as a payroll officer. And this question goes to the Chief Investment Officer, Ms. Fiona Nelson. Before I ask the question, I would like to thank you for the 11.75% the interest that have been credited to our savings, and I believe that's the biggest interest, the percentage that have been paid to our savings. So thank you very much for your hard work. Okay, my question is, doing investment it involves risk as well. I know you do some risk assessment and all these ones, but what are some of the methods do you use to analyze and interpret the financial statements, especially when evaluating potential acquisition and investment? So maybe you could give us an answer on that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. First and foremost, it's a team effort, the 11.75, but thank you. The board and executive management and all of you sitting here. If the contributions don't come in, we don't get to invest the money. So thank you very much for being compliant, and thank you very much for continuing to remit your contributions. Secondly, the investment has a team. It's not just me, myself. I have a team of 5 people, and they are in Port Moresby, and my investment manager is actually from Hagen. So thank you very much, Hagen, for producing a wonderful person. Now, yes, risk comes with reward. Reward is the enjoyment of the income, and it's risk-weighted assessed. So when we look at investments and we bring them in, we look at something called a hurdle rate. So we assess in that hurdle rate, there's a final figure that we assess, and we call that the hurdle rate. It's a percentage, it's in percentage, and it includes market risk, concentration risk,
single entity asset risk. So there are many different types of risk, specific company risks. We look at all those risks and we add it up and then we get that final hurdle rate. So I didn't put up the slide today, but our strategic asset allocation for each of those asset classes that you saw, for liquid risk, non-yielding illiquid, yielding illiquid, all of them have a risk percentage associated with each of them. So for example, if Bishop Brothers comes and says, I want Nasfund to buy a share in Bishop Brothers, we will immediately look at the proposal and then we will go to our strategic asset allocation and we will look at what type of risk do we associate that investment proposal with. So that's how we do it. Now when we talk about appreciation to an investment, we do valuation every year. And so our valuations are done internally and they're also done externally by an external valuer. So every year, just so you know what the process is, we go out to market, we go out to tender, we invite bids from all the big fours and people that are experts in valuation, and they bid and we choose which ones we think are most suited. We divide the portfolio investments and then we ask each of them. So PwC might do valuations for 4 of the listed stocks, or not listed, sorry, unlisted equities. So maybe they might do Brian Bell, Mainland Holdings. These are entities that are not listed. BSP Critical, when you go to PNGX, you find them there. That's the difference between listed and unlisted. Unlisted, you don't see it on PNGX, you don't see it on any stock exchange. So all our unlisted equities and all our land and property are valued every year. And that's how we realize the gains or appreciation in those assets. And we use different methodologies to do those valuations. So we do it in-house, then an external valuer does it, and then to triple that and review that, we have an external auditor, which is KPMG. So everything we do in investment is very highly regulated and highly watched. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Your questions answered? We'll take 2, 3 more questions. Constantine Solos from our CEO is arrived. He's on his way. Total editing was getting to people with what's a level I didn't have lucky reschedule. So he's rescheduled for morning and can come up now. So once he walks in, we'll continue with the presentation. So let's carry on with any questions, any Q&A. So you can David, thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. My name is David Parson, the HR Manager for Senegal Limited. One more question for you and one of Ms. Ellie Wilson. Is there a reason why there's a limit on housing advance ICU only 2? Are you able to increase that up to probably 3 or 4? Suppose me starting house, it will take me a while to actually get some housing advance. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are struggling to complete a house. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, David. Housing advance. Okay, super revealed that as our envelope, retirement, it's savings for retirement. So the only benefit that government is putting in the Superannuation Act is for housing benefit. Meaning if I am like to buy even house and retire. So for us to get for members to get a house, we must save more. We can get that people amount of working. And that's why it's limited to 2. When you see one part, the building house for you. Second one, and you're having to renovate it as a house. Also, seen as something finished, and it's that same house that you have good single first one. So it's in the Superannuation Act, and even people have what it was that's enough. It's done by the regulator. You got access to this one, and I must go back to the regulator.
it goes through a process whereby the government or member of the party to vote the standards. This is like license, something that we want to change now. We actually put in something, there was some last reform done. There was a lot of things that were changed to this Superannuation Act and not probably like what changes will come up. But it's still sitting there with the education. The problem is the defense of the European regulatory and some law. Usually, some law working on these issues. So sorry, that's how it is combined by the and 30% people. Thank you. Sometimes we don't have every council overnight. Must go through the process. For the governments, for the PhD, so that's been taken longer. Any questions? Hey everyone. My name is Barbara Nets. I represent Northern Muslim Services. We used to be under Northern Ministries. Just recently, January, and got our separate entity, community, and so we got our separate Nasfund finished. Blood was a living country. Now we was made of super talent. One I know you are our email and all that. One prayer, but I was all and that was early, and I made some very what's done from here? We Nazarene Services, we do maintenance and security and construction for Nazarene Ministry Hospital, and we employ Josu contractors who can work 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then contract is not work. Labor loan for more than 3 months, you must contribute to Nasfund. The site will come, there is nothing to allow. And then you contribute to Nasfund after 3 months, and then you work 1 or 2 months as well, and contract is for a small amount. You know, so much of that paper and continue to work and that. And this command of less of the work that you have done. So now, what I'm again from the class of the White House in the Sun Convention and all that. So we even planning for $1 million and during the sun. So there were less than 1 year money, but I didn't want to understand. So, even though I did the one that is was around, even though you know what it was, they were still controlling the understanding. Next month we also have completely answered the last next month and give some advice to the mother. We can't really know and completely understand or there is a way to understand the value. There is an arrangement to understand the time money from the other to the plan and give more where you try to talk and listen more slow. I'm not again really want to know the time of that. It is one time, they know spending more money than the same. Now, there is a time coming. Good last. Yes, that's the whole thing about solving consideration. Masala invitation for all. Other health mission, but my you are subcontracted. Now, you know, you plan, and when I have another, you have any happiness for this.
all employed for this staff. So for those contractors, you can say this about how long was the woman being plan? Construction period. And the one can solo kind of China will go China was to go no. I don't know that necessarily. But look China was to go on three projects maybe. So it entirely depends on the employer. When I'm saying this is a lot of times you are assessing only in 3 months or less than that or more than 3 months. But yes, we have a lot of 3 months now, well, we can start contributing a lot as fun. You are into you don't them. You are a global contributor as fun or not. Globally for the PNG. And you don't always contribute and you walk. Whether you project or full-time employee or kind of fun. Suppose all these is full-time employee now. They are qualified to contribute. Officials, I don't have permanent, must work mandatory contribution from us. Yes, we do understand that although reaching 2 months or 3 months or kind of some also is involvement for it. So talk to the employer, also talk to the staff as well. Also, you contribute now, contribution people going to spouse. First of all, no, I guess if you want to spread it to the whole people, that's it. So people understand why you contribute. Purpose of contribution or what contribution for that. It can be a superannuation. But we nanti kalau belajar di desain ini, ikutlah dalam story one time also kita semua understanding bahwa benefit of superannuation. Now we tahu kalau cara explain karena dia. So ini sangat dimengerti di communicate for session face to face. Is in a video that is what I will see over the sun. Thank you. Discussion will be welcome to this box again and for the conference. I hope you like this food. Lovely. So I live in a capable lifestyle. Lovely. Thank you.
Hi, good morning all. Thank you for being late. Few things which are not in your control, so yeah. Was trying to come here since yesterday. Alright, where do we start? Lovely. First of all, our performance of the last year, as I'm sure you all would have been very happy, 11.75% of the trading rate. This does not happen every year. It's very, very difficult to repeat this. Last year, 2023 was 9%, and 2024 we managed with 11.75%. Now, one thing we must learn and understand about superannuation, that results of superannuation should be viewed in the when time comes for you to withdraw the money, we have sufficient liquidity to pay you back, right? That's very important. So if you look at our contribution receipts, last year we received 793 million of contribution and we paid 591 million. What it did, it resulted in us surplus of 202 million. And this is not that this surplus is one-off year. Over a prolonged period of time, we always have had surplus since 2002 and 3, barring 1 year where we had a small gap of 3 billion kina of shortfall, and that was in the year 2014 and 15, and that was immediately after PNG when the project got completed, and a lot of workers who were working there, they got unemployed. So that was the only exceptional year. And second thing we wanted to show you is the how many transactions process in yearly basis. Our transactions range between 78,000 to 90,000 transactions a year. If I further divide it, roughly 6,000 to 7,000 transactions every month. Per day, if it is 6,000 transactions, we're talking about 300 transactions every day. So 300 to 400 transactions at Nasfund office we process on daily basis across our 22 branches. What it means is there is a system which is geared up to process these kind of volumes. No other super fund in Papua New Guinea has such high transactions. What we process in a month, we probably process in 6 months. So our manpower, our systems, they are well equipped to deal with the large volumes which we receive, the large amount of applications which we receive. Now, this is what I was talking about when we say that long-term return in superannuation is paramount, more important. There is another concept that if you say what return is a good return for superannuation, right? That's important. I'll say 11.75%. Now, it is very relative. If CPI in the country or inflation was 12%, then 11.75% was a very bad return because it was below CPI. So very important to see where CPI is and what your return is. Our aim always is to give return which is above CPI. Because when it is above CPI, it means you don't go backward in life. It means you always ahead of life in terms of your monetary value. For example, suppose you have 100,000 kina today, and that 100,000 kina, you can go and buy a car. In 5 years' time, the value of that car becomes 130,000. So this 30,000 increase in value is nothing but this is called inflation. What it means is the value currently you owe 100,000 kina. If you remain invested for 5 years in superannuation, you must have more than 130,000 kina in your account so that you are able to purchase that car. If you are unable to do that, suppose your balance in account is only 125,000 kina. What it means 5 years ago you could buy a car. In 5 years' time you are unable to buy a car. It means superannuation has not given you sufficient return. So whenever you check return of superannuation, do check how it weighs up against CPI. It's very important. CPI is a very important factor, which basically I'll talk again and again about this. So please do keep a note. It's not return in isolation is not very important unless and until you look at that inflation and say how it pairs up along with CPI. So if you look at Nasfund, over a period of 5 years, return is 7.21% against CPI of about 5%, which is 40% more than CPI. Similarly, for 10 years, return is 6.51, CPI would be about 5-ish. 15 years, CPI would be 5%, 20 years, CPI would be 5 to 6%. It also tells one more thing. The more prolonged you remain invested, the more better average return you get. Now, what it means, someone who had 10,000 kina 20 years ago, and they left that kina with Nasfund 20 years ago, with 10.53% return, I think that money would become close to 74,000 kina in 20 years' time, without you doing anything. So it is money which remains invested, which gets multiplied. It is very important that we don't touch our superannuation funds before retirement. If we withdraw money, then the cumulative interest it stops. It stops earning interest. If we keep money invested, if we remain invested, money grows on its own. And that's very crucial, very important. That and say if you are unemployed for some time and someone comes, they say, no, we need to withdraw money. We must have discussion that, is it really necessary for you to withdraw? Because it is like when you buy a cigarette, you see it says smoking is injurious to health. When you buy a six-pack, they say drink sensibly. On withdrawal forms, we must write that when you're withdrawing money, please think before you withdraw, because if you withdraw something now, in 10 years' time, that value will become something very different. And superannuation funds are for retirement. It's not something which you save for your need while you are working. Why it is important? Because longevity is increasing. In 1975, people used to live till 50 years of age. So superannuation was not important because you retire at 55. So most of the time people will pass on and they will not be able to enjoy the benefit of superannuation savings. Currently, average age stands at 65 years of age. Other statistics information, those who live up to 50, they probably live up to 70. So if you choose to retire at the age of 60, it means you have 10 years of life where you need money. So superannuation was never more relevant than currently what it is. Because those in their 30s, 40s, that they will retire at the age of 55 and 60, they would have 10 more years to live on. And if all your life you have worked and you have lived on your own money, then in a retirement you would like to have that, like when I'm retiring I must have my own money, I should not be dependent on anyone else. And that is why it is important not to touch superannuation money till you retire. Now, Fiona, have you given a presentation already? All right, so I'm sure Fiona must have taken you through that what is our SAA and what were the key drivers for our return for 2024. We are very thankful to BSP for giving a fabulous return last year. There was a growth of 35% in valuation. Share price went about from 14, 15 PINA to close to 22 PINA. And similarly, there was a dividend yield of about 10%. And international markets, because we could send some money overseas, it resulted in a good yield as well. Now, there is something we call it benchmarking of our returns. Now, what exactly is the benchmarking? Again, we come back to inflation or CPI. So if my inflation is 5% and expense to run the fund is close to 1.05%, across the industry this is around 1.25%. So we try to keep ourselves well within the range, and tax is about 0.8%. What it means is if fund gives a gross return of 6.85%, then it will be able to give you the crediting rate of 5%. So my gross return must be well and above 7.5%. If it is 7.5%, the crediting rate will be 5.5%. Now, 2024, 2025, your fund was winner of 2 awards. First award was in recognition of outstanding service for finance and banking sector, and this was given by the core, which is a chamber of mines and resources. And this was in 2024. So we won, and we competed against everyone in financial sector, all the banks, all the financial institutions, insurance companies, superannuation companies. And in 2025, in the month of late March, we won the Innovation Award. And this Innovation Award, again, we won in the category of large businesses, large segment. So here our competitor were Visa Bank, Credit Corp Bank, um, and BSP, and there was one more a large company. I'm forgetting the name, but we were the winner. And this award was for AI. We are the first one to implement artificial intelligence in Nasfund. So what it does is all the invoice checking. When you buy something, you issue a purchase order. Now, the vendor you issue purchase order to, they give you goods. They give you goods, they come with a good receipt note, and they send you a invoice. Now, there are three primary documents. One is your purchase order, good receipt note, and invoices. Now, the normal process is in the absence of the system which we have someone manually checks everything. Quantity received okay or not, price okay or not. Yeah. Good is same or not. You ordered for something and something else has come. Now, we utilize AI, and AI, through that AI, we check everything, and it gets checked instantly within few minutes. System goes and checks off everything, and if everything is in order, it puts it in a box, in a folder which says okay to process, and then it gets uploaded on the accounting system. So what it does is it removes all the bias of payment, whom we have to pay, whom we don't have to pay. We don't decide. System will decide on the basis. It is a very transparent, good governance, good practice to have. And after utilizing this successfully, we are seeing some more use cases within our company that how we can implement AI. Now, when we implement AI, it does not mean that there is going to be job reduction. No. What we're going to do is, because we are realizing that we need more and more interaction with members, more and more interaction with employers, where we should be able to come to you and talk to you that what exactly you need in your age bracket. Suppose you are 35-year-old. Now we have enough data, we can compare that data and say if you are earning 50,000 Kina and you are 35-year-old. Now all the other 35 years old who earn similar amount, they have say balance of 100,000 Kina in their superannuation account. Do you have or you don't have? If you don't have, would you like to have? If you would like to have, what do we need to do? Similarly for employers, there are few things which we need to change. One is, if you look at the percentage of employer contribution, it is mandated at 8.4%. And this 8.4% has not been changed since 2008. Right? All the other countries in Pacific, average contribution rate is 10%. In Papua New Guinea, which is the largest economy in Pacific, we have 8.4%. Now, if you look at our next door neighbors, Australia, from 1st of July 2025, rate is going to be 12%. Currently, it is 11.5%. So, the rate is low in Papua New Guinea. If rate is low, then what we need to do? Act tells you that you cannot. Let me come back to the slide. If it is there. Not that slide. Okay. So what Act tells that 8.4% is the minimum contribution you have to make. But Income Tax Act, it says that you can contribute up to 15%. So if you can contribute up to 15%, then what stops anyone from contributing? Definitely it is higher cost to the employer. But a lot of employers have started contributing 10%. Few large corporates, and I'm seeing some in the resource sectors, they already are contributing. Some large universities, financial sector, they have all started contributing from 8.4% to 10% because everyone is realizing that the balances in the account of our members are very low. So this is entire membership profile of Nasfund. We have 722,000 members and total balance of 8.1 billion kina. Now, if you look at members who has got less than 10,000 who have less than 10,000 kina balance, they are 84% of members. 607,000 members out of 722,000 have less than 10,000 kina balance. Sum total of their balance is only 1.6 billion kina. It means 84% of members, they have only 15% of net assets value. This is very low balance. What it means is this money will not be sufficient when they retire. And those who have more than 100,000 kina, they are 2.26%, only 16,000, 17,000 members. And they have roughly 4 billion kina, which is 49% of the membership. So about 2.26% of the members, they hold 49% of the balance. It means something needs to be done. Now, what is that something? We all can increase employer contribution from 8.4%, we can go up to 10%, 15%. We can all go and do our employee portion, we can increase. These are the voluntary contributions. Thirdly, why balance is low? Because you would have seen last year we paid 596 million kina in benefits. Now, what are those benefits? 60% of those benefits, roughly 300 odd million kina, what we paid last year, it was for unemployment benefit. When someone is unemployed for 3 months, they come to us, we pay them. If there is an alternate way of saving, which is, we always say that we must save through savings and loan society for short-term needs. If those needs are taken care of, then everyone have more balances in hand. That is one part. Second part, tax rate in Papua New Guinea is very high on superannuation. We pay 25% tax. Most of the Pacific countries, the tax on superannuation is about 15%. Australia also it is 15%. So it's very high tax here. So we've been engaging with their authorities. We're trying to tell them that A, tax rate should be reduced. B, contribution amount from 8.4% should go up. But if it does not happen, that doesn't mean we don't do anything. If we don't do anything, at the end we will have lower balances in our account. So something for you all to go back, think about it, and check your account, see the balance, and if you all can work on Excel, you can calculate how much money you will have when you retire, and see whether that will be sufficient or not sufficient. Now, as I said, I'll come back to CPI again and again. Because CPI, what it does is, it increases your expenses. If today you spend say 100 kina per week on your groceries, what it is going to do for you is, in 30 years time, with 3% increase every year, this 100 kina will become 235 kina. The other way to look at it is, if you have 100,000 kina today, and your expense, say, every month is 1,000 kina, it means you are good enough for 100,000 kina divided by 1,000 for 100 months. You will have no problem for 100 months, as of today. But in 20 years' time, if you have 100,000 kina, this expense will not remain 100, it will become 1,000, it will become 2,000. It means the money will only last for 50% of the time, which you should have lasted now. So in 20 years' time, you need 50% more money to sustain yourself for next 10 years. You look at packet of milk, right? You could buy it for $4, $3 10 years ago. Currently, they cost somewhere around 7 to 9 kina. The cost increases over the period of time, and this is something which we always miss in calculating that how much money we would need when we would retire. And then once we miscalculate that, at times we always think we have enough. Oh, I will have sufficient money. When I retire, I will have 200,000 kina or 100,000 kina in my account, which will be sufficient enough for me to last for 10 years. But what we forget, when we calculating that 100,000 kina, what we have in mind is current expense, not the future expense. So it's very important to again calculate what your CPI increases will be. And this is the guru of investments, Warren Buffett. He says compounding interest is the greatest force in the nature. People also call it eighth wonder of the world. Nothing increases, nothing gives more return than the compounding factor. It is time in the market which is important, how long you remain invested, so that money can compound. Now, say if average return is 7.2%, then there is something called rule of 72. What it says is how many years it will take for you to double the money. So if average returns, what we have shown, Nasfund gives return of about 7.5%, it means every 10 years your money should double. Now, if you are 20-year-old and you have 10,000 kina, and you would have put this money with Nasfund for 40 years, at a return of 7.2%, you know how much that money will become when you turn 60? It will become 160,000. That money will grow 16 times. You don't have to contribute any further. This is compounding interest on interest. Because in first 10 years, 10,000 will become 20. Then from 20 it will become 40 when you turn 40. When you turn 50, it will become 80. And when you turn 60, it will become 160,000. So it's important to save early, not cash money, not withdraw money. Because let money earn compounding interest. Other small examples is if you have 50,000 kina additional contribution per month, and if average return is 5%, then in 30 years' time you will have 40,000 kina. So if you think that you should have 250,000 kina in your account when you retire, and your current calculation says you will have 200,000 kina, and you have 30 years in hand, you are 30-year-old, then what you need to do? Just contribute 50 kina extra per month, nothing more. That 50 kina will become 40,000 kina. And if you do 150,000 kina, it will become 122,000 kina. So it's important, consistent saving, regular saving, disciplined saving, and that will grow the money. Nothing earns money than the money. If you have 100,000 kina, 10,000 on 100,000 kina will be 10,000. The crediting rate 11.75%. Who benefits more? The one who has more balance in the account. If you have 100,000 kina in account, then 10% return means 10,000 kina. If you have only 1,000 kina in the account, 10% will become only 100 kina. The most important way to have sufficient saving when you retire is to increase your base early in life. If you increase your base early enough, it will multiply because of compounding interest. So don't withdraw early in life. If you do good amount of saving till you are 35, 40, you don't have to worry about it. This is not something which you can fix when you are in 50s. It will become very difficult to catch up. Because if you did not have 10,000 kina when you were 20, to catch up and do 160,000 kina at 50, you need 80,000. Because money would have grown from 10 to 80, requirement would have gone. And similarly, it's not very difficult to accumulate a very high amount. Say you are 25-year-old, your salary is 30,000 PINA and contribution is 14.4%. Crediting rate is 5%, and every year your salary grows by 3%. And saving duration is 35 years. Assumption is you are not touching that money, leaving money in the superannuation. When you retire, you should have half a million in annual account. But most of us will withdraw money in between. Like if you all can work on Excel, simply put these formulas in Excel sheet. Calculate, you should have, when you turn 60, you will have 500,000 K. But you have to start at 25 years of age. Your salary should be 30,000, and every year your salary has to grow by 3% increment which you get. When you get increment, your superannuation increases. Now, bar on the other side, what it says, that if you start contributing 15%, the voluntary contribution which allows you to save from 8.4% to 15%, then you're going to have 934,000 for the same period. So it's very important. Save consistently. Start early. Start early. Very regular saving. Don't touch money. Let money earn interest, which is called cumulative interest. The magic starts playing on its own. And as time progresses, we will see higher balances. And we are there to help you, Fiona and myself, our team in Hagen. We are there to help you because it is important when you retire, you should have sufficient balance in your account. Because if you have only 10,000 PINA, 15,000 PINA when you retire, you are 60 years of age. This is hardly superannuation. It's just glorified bank account. Because you cannot retire with that money. And these graphs are showing things are not very hard. What we need is determination. What we need is discipline. What we need is consistency. And there are members who will have this kind of money because we've been talking to a lot of young members and who are putting 21%, who are putting more. And I'm seeing that they have more balance in account and they are really worried about that when they retire, how much money they will have because younger generation is going to live much, much more longer. So this problem is very relevant. So if you all are from human resource, or I'm sure if you can speak to your colleagues, do share this thought that it is important to start savings early. Save a little bit extra, whether it is 50 kina, 75 kina, 100 kina, whatever you can do. Because if you leave that money invested, this is what you're going to get out of it. Because everyone's goal is very different. Because what will you determine how much money you will need in retirement is other factors. Do you have your house or not? Is your children independent or not? Are your relatives, your parents dependent on you or not? So that is why it is not that one size fits all. I can have a formula, I'll say no, everyone would need 300,000 yen or 200,000 yen. It depends on your personal, individual circumstances. Your spending pattern, what you like to eat, what you like to, where you like to spend on, where you like to travel, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of school, university your kids go to. So it is combination of all. If whatever is my requirement may not be your requirement. What is your requirement may not be person sitting next to your requirement. So it's very important that we all, because we work hard, very, very hard. We start working when you are young and we aspire to retire at the age of 55, 60. And we truly deserve to have sufficient money in our superannuation accounts when we retire. So it is important not to leave this towards the end. Early enough to calculate that by the way I am progressing, where I'm going to reach when I'm 55, 60. I'm telling you to calculate Probably on 18th of July, that will no longer be the case. We're launching all these new calculators on our website. So then you will be able to log on to the website and you will be able to calculate all of that. The things which I have discussed, a calculation of total money, how your expense will grow, and how long this money will last. Yesterday only I have seen the draft of calculator is coming along very well. We're going to launch it on 18th of July that we have our employee conference in Port Moresby, and that day we will launch it for all of you to go through it. But what I'm trying to impress more and more, the only purpose of me coming to Hagen is when I go, I don't talk about what Nasfund does. Fiona is there, N is there, our staff is there, they do this job very well. But it is relevant to understand that why do we say, why superannuation is important? You know, world, it is not problem to Papua New Guinea alone. World will move towards elderly poverty because more and more people are getting into the bracket of those who are living longer. Look at Japan. Average age in Japan is what? People live up to 90, 93 years of age. Yes. Physically difficult to work when you are past 60, 65, right? Or 70 if you are very fit. So, in Japan population, over 70, they are not good. Population below 20 is not good. In Japan, ratio is almost 50-50. Population who is earning and population who is not earning. They're going through this tough time. If I calculate that for Papua New Guinea, it will be different situation because currently, if you look at those over 50, 60 years of age, they probably will 10% of the population. In Papua New Guinea, below 20% is about 30-40% of the population. So dependence population on the earning population. It means it puts pressure on all those who are earning to look after people who are dependent. So this dependency ratio is going to increase as time will progress because everyone will live longer. This is not a problem which is unique to Papua New Guinea. This is a problem which most of the countries will face. And that is why if you look at Pacific nations, they have increased contributions, percentages. Taxation is low. It is low. Australia, they have done 12%, tax 15%. And if you are an Australian citizen, if you don't have your superannuation, you can go to Centrelink and they'll give you pension. Papua New Guinea, till now we don't have pension. And in Pacific countries, 3 out of 14 countries only don't have government support. 11 nations have government support. Some for or the other, it may be 100 as minimum as 100 ki number one, but there's some support. Only 3 companies that use Nauru, Solomon Islands, and Papua New Guinea, there is no government support. It means all the more reason we need to save more. And third part, those who are working for our employers, where they employ less than 15, they are not supposed to contribute with us because the law says unless you have 15 employers, you should not contribute. You are not required to contribute. Last year alone, since 2024 and 25, we got on board 300 such employers where number of employees was less than 50. Because when you retire, that time it would be very pathetic situation that you don't have superannuation. Because you work for an employer who did not have enough number of employees and they did not contribute. Because retirement will not give you any benefit for that. Expenses will not be less. It will not be when you go to supermarkets, there will be different counter. If you work for less than 15 employees, will give you some discount. That is not going to happen. That's the harsh reality. So if you know people, if you know companies where less than 15 employees are there, please talk to them. Ask them to contribute. If their employer is not contributing, they can contribute towards with our product called Data Super. Individuals can contribute if their employers are not contributing. And this is our strategy. We had our strategy for 3 years, 24, 25, and 26. We are in the middle of the strategy. Now, very core and key of our strategy is uh, our ways of working. That last 2 years, what we're trying to achieve is we are trying to figure out how we can serve you better, how we can digitalize, how members are looked after better when they come to the branches, how we can increase use of technology so that we don't increase expenses in the same ratio as my income goes, so that there is a more profit after tax and hence more credited to members. And growth and penetration, that how we're going to grow. Growth will come by the growth of all the organizations. Again, as I said, we're going to be going to all these organizations where they employ less than 50. And there are some very wealthy organizations. You look at most of the legal firms, they will not have 15 employees. Accounting firms, they have less. Act says it is not mandatory to contribute, but doesn't say you cannot contribute. It allows you to contribute. The contribution is very, very important. And secondly, data governance is very, very important. And what data governance do is we are trying to clean as much as data so that data can tell a story. That I can compare a 35-year-old in Port Moresby to Hagen or somewhere in Mars or somewhere in Lake. Do they have similar balances in their account? If not, what is different these guys are doing? Are they earning more wages or their practices are more, or in a particular region people don't withdraw, in a particular region people just withdraw. So all these, with the more data analytics, with the use of more technology, we will get to see more data which will tell a story about you, and we will be able to share that story with you. I'm hoping that when we come to the conference next time, we can come with more granular data within Hagen. Currently, we have some data. I think my memory says that Highland contributes about 3% of a membership out of 722,000. Roughly, it is 31,000. And sum total of the contribution which is with us is close to 2.6, 2.7%, which is close to 300 million. So, in entire nationwide, that the contribution is about 3.5% and 3% is the contribution. Now, we can drill down further that is 40-year-old in Hagen has similar balance in play or Port Moresby, and that is what we're trying to achieve out of this current strategy. Now, other thing which we said is targeted presentations. In past, we've been presenting with what Nasfund has to offer, right? As an employer, as a member, what you need to know that how superannuation functions. And this combined with financial literacy, we're going to move towards something which we call super education or super literacy. Like we all know importance of financial literacy. What it means is we all should be banked. We all should know how to make budgets. We should control our expenses. Once we have achieved all that, we have learned all that. Now probably we have come to the next phase where we could learn about how we increase our superannuation. We're going to talk more about growth in superannuation, how we can empower people to understand more about their superannuation, and that is part of our strategy. So we'll be happy to come to any of your organizations if you need. That can you come and talk to our members that how they can increase the superannuation balance. If you look at ideal member of the superannuation fund, what that would be. Ideal member should be join the fund at the age of 20, 25, depending on education and what he is doing. By the time he turns 35, there should be sufficient balance in an account. It means he should be able to withdraw money for housing advance. Use that money to buy a house. By the time he turns 50, house should be paid for. It means when he is 50, he's got paid for a house. And then he has money to accumulate for 10 more years so that he can retire peacefully. So this is how an ideal superannuation member should be. And we would like all of you to become ideal superannuation member. But again, everyone's circumstances are different, needs are different. But if there's a need for a particular type of presentation on housing advance, voluntary contribution, or how to have more benefits out of Nasfund, and one such benefit is MDP. We have a membership discount program where you can go to participating discount partners and avail discounts by showing your Nasfund card. So this was for membership discount program. Last year we launched, which is something we call as E2E. It is employer to employer. If you are a smaller employer, likelihood that you go to Brandwell, you don't get any discount. But if you are an E2E partner, if you are a employer with Nasfund, and we have this arrangement with Brandwell, that as an employer you could go to Brandwell and not take the discount. So these are the other benefits of remaining invested, being with Nasfund. Now these are some of the NAS talk which we started earlier this year. I think we have released 5 of them so far. Every month we release one. Now what we talk about? We talk about simple things which impacts all of us. What is the strategic assets allocation? What is CPI? How you should view superannuation returns. So if you read them all, you're trying to make it as simple in layman's language without using the financial words, jargon or formulas, that how it impacts you. So if you read all of that, probably you will know more about superannuation. And soon we're going to launch a podcast which we going to call the NAScast. First a video has already been recorded. I think it's been worked on. It will be released soon. And on top of it, if you go to our website on nasfund.com.pg, there is a section which calls the videos. We have 7 videos in English and 7 in Pidgin, which talks about what Nasfund is all about. As a member, what kind of benefits you can get out of that. So if you have not seen that, I encourage you to log on there and come and learn about what Nasfund has to offer you. So with those words, I'll try to take your lead. Thank you very much for listening patiently. And once again, really sorry for coming along late. I was hoping to be here yesterday and start early in the morning. So once again, very sorry. Now, is there any question? We're happy to take some questions. Fiona is there and Anne is there. They are the ones who will be answering most of the questions because they always relate to their area. But is anything in particular you want me to answer? Happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to see you. Please, everyone, don't have such a flexible protocol. Please, raise your hands up. You got some good information, understanding what is best part of go through. So manipulate your ways. Thank you. Any questions?
FM 100 Talkback show coming to you live from the Highland Hotel here in Mount Hagen City of West Nile.
That's nice. No question.
For the Nasfund
Thank you.
Regional Employer
All right, our last. Okay, look, we've got a question at the back.
and the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rajiv Sharma, just wrapping up the conversational remarks this morning on the occasion. It's fed into the top of the hour as we head towards
Good morning. Thank you, Nasfund, for
this morning.
giving us invitation.
Taken
invitation to attend this conference. I'm representing New Pokhara Limited. This is not a question, but this is a request to CEO. For New Pokhara Limited, I have 2,637 employees, and that's a current contribution, but we employed 70 to 100 plus every monthly. And this request is goes to CEO for request for brands in Wapek, Nasfund brands in Wapek. We had a Nasfund brands in Wapek last time ago, but then
when a popular bring them to work, again here. So now I request if we can set up a national branch at one bank and our employees can go to Nasfund and then go to one bank and access. Thank you. That's my request.
And there you go, from the members this morning, and this is what this event is all about. And that's from reaching out to members and
Thank you very much for your suggestion, and thanks for the contributions. I've seen that contributions are increasing every month. They had dropped during the COVID, but it has picked up. Definitely in the radar, in the scheme of things, we have just in mind that as and when opportunity arises, we will open a branch in Babak. 6 months ago, I've had a meeting with the governor there, and he suggested some of the locations, and we actively looking at it. And something we're going to do something about it. It's not in Babak, so we will ask your good office to give us a test so that we can put someone there to the government. Thank you.
Again, we've live streamed this event on our Facebook page of 100 Company Guinea. If you missed out on some of the discussions and insights, you can check out our Facebook page to find out about the conversations during this morning.
And
But again,
that was at Stanley Hotel on the 8th of May.
continues on, but we will wrap things up here.
Unfortunately, some of our employees did not
Bring us the
attend,
presentation of
so
the
some of them are here
awards
today. We would like
the
to give
employees
them
in
the
the
awards.
region. We have
Before I
got
run
ourselves
through
the
the awards category,
the Nasfund
they have to go through different
employees
selection
and employees
criteria
awarded
of each
recently took
employer.
place. Those
So the ones that we'll be awarding
the
today
employers in the
will
Highlands region who
be
have been awarded some of those
Mahani's
awards
Finance
will be presented this morning.
for
Those awards.
best
But that's been
non-mandatory employee
the
contributor.
program for today on the Nasfund FM 100 Talkback show. Coming to
Mahani's
that
is not
again.
here today. Thank you. Josu Enterprise
The
Limited
production team, Charlie
for
Mumine,
best non-mandatory
and
contribution
Joshua
employer award.
was Jivana Tabala.
Asaro Lutheran High School,
Thank you so much for
category
those
C, the second runner-up for best employer non-mandatory contribution award.
Safe.
So for those three who are not here, I'll take it down with me because these employees are based in
Next
Corona.
time, I'm Joshua King.
We also have CIC, and CIC are here today, so we'll give them the award. And the awards will be mostly under most compliant employer, mandatory contribution, and best employer
Thank
with
you. Appreciate
employee
it.
voluntary contribution. Because CIC is here, I'll call upon Shelley Sene, please make your way up. And I'll ask my good CEO to come up and do the presentation. Thank you. So CIC is based in Florida. CIC is an initial for Coffee Industry Corporation. So they have to get 2 awards, the best employer with employee voluntary contribution, category B, and another award with CIC again, category C, second runner-up. Let's give the honors to Lillian. Lillian, please come up. Lillian is also from CIC. She's representing coffee industry, and she's awarded most compliant employer, mandatory contribution. Thank you, CIC. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we've come to the end of our program. Before we wind down, I would like to again acknowledge our comms, CEO for Nasfund, Mr. Rajiv Sharma,
Fiona Nelson and Ann Wilson for their time, very busy people, but they made their time available. And of course, our employers, you made your time available today to come attend our important conference. So just something to be here. Not forgetting FM 100, Talkback Show, coming live today from 9 to 12. We're almost there at 12 on the dot now. Those listeners listening in from FM 100, thank you for joining us. We also have our E2E and MDP service providers. That will be PIH, Hagen, A to Z Hardware, Huacheng, and PNBM Hardware. Having said that, thank you all. We'll close with the word of prayer. We started with the word of prayer. We'll close with the word of prayer. I'll ask Holy Trinity, Susan Iki, please come forward. Let's close with the word of prayer. Thank you. Thank you. We all stand up and bow our heads. Thank you, everyone. We welcome you this morning. Lord, you have been in the midst of us during the start of the conference to the end. So thank you. Thank you for the top management that came all the way from the Nasfund team to share with us the achievements and the struggles that we've been through to make money for the fund and for the employees and employees' contribution that we have in the fund. Father, we say thank you for those that have came all the way from the Highlands regions, from the Upper Highlands and the Lower Highlands that have came for this conference. We pray for your traveling mercy as they return to their various work environments and provinces. We pray that you will be with them and be with those, the team that came from FOM, the CEO and his team, and the staff, that's one team in Hagen. We pray that you will continue to be with them and thank you for opening up their minds to foresee the investment avenues that are available and make money for the fund. We say thank you for giving them the strength, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be in that organization to serve the employers and the employees of the nation. Father, we pray that you will be with us this day as we pray for lunch. We pray that you will continue to be with us. Bless the food that we will partake and be with us throughout the day. In Jesus' name we pray. Susan, thank you too. All right, I think we're gonna have a photo shot. So I believe you have your hands with you. So you can get ready to get floor. That's one. Line up here at the front. Not more than 5 minutes, just 2 minutes. And we'll all rush down to the poolside to have our lunch. Thank you.